After a secretive US-Indonesia deal over air access and chokepoint surveillance, China's own secret undersea beast spotted near another critical strait? As Washington eyes the Malacca Strait from the skies, is Beijing quietly fortifying another strategic lifeline linking the Indian and Pacific Oceans below the surface? A covert, torpedo-shaped Chinese surveillance system has been exposed off Indonesia, raising alarm. While Trump targets Iran, has his biggest rival been secretly mapping and shadowing US and allied navies in this key deep water strait all along? A torpedo-shaped device was found near Indonesia's strategic Lombok Strait, with reports on April 17 saying it was recovered close to key shipping lanes. Defense analysts have identified the device as a Chinese undersea monitoring system, according to an assessment cited by ABC News. A local fisherman discovered the 3.7-meter-long object near Gili Trawangan Island, in waters between Bali and Lombok that feed into the strait. Indonesia's Navy moved the device to its Maritime base for investigation, while China publicly dismissed regional concerns over the find. Beijing said there was no need for excessive interpretation, suspicion, or overreaction regarding the presence of the device. Meanwhile, naval analyst Hai Sutton linked the object to China's deep-sea mooring sensor system, according to media reports. This type of system can be anchored to the seabed and transmit collected data via surface buoys over extended periods. Its sensors are designed to gather information on water depth, currents, temperature, and the presence or movement of underwater targets. Experts say such fixed systems can be used to track submarines and build up patterns of naval movement over time. Notably, the device carried the logo of CSIC, the China Shipbuilding Industry Corporation, which is tied to Beijing's state shipbuilding and defense sector. Analysts have raised the alarm that China may be building a real-time undersea surveillance network along key Indo-Pacific routes. Similar seabed monitoring and sensor technologies already exist in the navies of countries such as the United States, Japan, and India. Experts also warned that such dual-use systems blur the line between civilian oceanographic research and military reconnaissance. The Lombok Strait itself is a key route linking the Indian and Pacific Oceans and is one of the few deep-draft passages in the region. It is vital for deep-draft ships, including large naval vessels and tankers, and serves as an alternative to the heavily trafficked Malacca Strait routes. Mapping and instrumenting this area helps China prepare for potential submarine warfare and anti-submarine operations, according to defense experts. After imposing a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, the US may now be eyeing the Strait of Malacca as its next strategic focus area, according to recent reports. The US and Indonesia signed a new pact this week that expands American military air access over Jakarta's airspace. This defense agreement signals a potential widening of US strategic focus beyond the Middle East into key Indo-Pacific corridors. Analysts say the US may be trying to monitor the Strait of Malacca more closely using its enhanced regional access. Notably, the Strait of Malacca is a vital trade artery linking the Indian Ocean with major East Asian markets. A significant share of global oil shipments also transits through this narrow maritime corridor each year. Along with energy supplies, the route carries large volumes of electronics and key industrial components crucial to global supply chains. China depends heavily on this route and has long framed that reliance as a strategic vulnerability, often described as the Malacca dilemma. Experts say the US views the Strait of Malacca less in economic terms and more as a potential military choke point. Its narrow width at key points makes the strait vulnerable to disruption or interdiction in conflict scenarios. Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore jointly oversee security in the Strait of Malacca under existing regional arrangements. Consequently, sovereignty concerns in these three littoral states complicate any expanded US security presence in and around the strait. Singapore's economy remains deeply tied to stable and open shipping lanes through the Strait of Malacca. India also gains strategic relevance because of its geographic proximity to the western entry of the Malacca Strait. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands offer India a key maritime surveillance and forward deployment edge near this gateway. India's expanding military infrastructure in these islands strengthens its ability to oversee regional sea lanes and monitor naval movements. This comes as tensions already remain high in the strategic Strait of Hormuz, a narrow corridor that carries a major share of the world's seaborne oil. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced the shutdown of the strait again on April 18, just a day after briefly reopening it under ceasefire. The renewed closure came after Trump declared that the US naval blockade would continue despite Iran's previous announcement that Hormuz was completely open to commercial traffic. Iran pushed back strongly against US President Donald Trump's rhetoric, rejecting his claims on the Strait of Hormuz and asserting control over the key waterway. Parliament Speaker Mohammed Ghalibaf dismissed Trump's statements on X, calling them false and misleading. He said Trump made 7 claims within just 1 hour, stressing that none of them reflected the reality on the ground. Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf said, and I quote, "The President of the United States made 7 claims in 1 hour, all 7 of which were false. They did not win the war with these lies, and they will certainly not get anywhere in negotiations either. With the continuation of the blockade, the Strait of Hormuz will not remain open. Passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be conducted based on the designated route and with Iranian authorization. Whether the strait is open or closed and the regulations governing it will be determined by the field, not by social media. Media warfare and engineering public opinion are an important part of war, and the Iranian nation is not affected by these tricks." US Central Command said its forces could sustain the blockade for as long as necessary, adding that they were closely tracking Iranian maritime activity across ports and shipping routes. CENTCOM further stated that it maintained full surveillance over Iranian naval movements, claiming visibility over every major port and vessel. Trump also suggested that ceasefire negotiations would move quickly, saying most issues between the sides had already been resolved. Mohammed Ghalibaf rejected these assertions, warning that if the US blockade continued, the Strait of Hormuz would not remain open. He emphasized that all passage through the strait would strictly follow routes designated and authorized by Iran's authorities. Ghalibaf further stated that control over the Strait of Hormuz would be determined on the battlefield rather than through statements made on social media.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't border because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.